so fly. Yeah, she so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah. Co-pilot on the passenger side, we so fly. Yeah, she so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah. She give me a bit of her love.
Yo, what up, y'all? Welcome to another one, man. This is your boy Raw One, and this is Sparking Conversation. And y'all know what I like to say, y'all. I like to get up here each and every week, and I like to talk to some of the world's most interesting people. But tonight, I don't know, because I did have a guest scheduled to come on today. So we'll see if that happens. But if not, it's okay, because it's a lot to talk about, right? And one of them is We Don't Wait, We Create. But before we get into any of that, let me do like I do each and every week, give thanks. Thank you to each and every person that downloads the audio version of this podcast, y'all. I'm trying to tell y'all how much I appreciate y'all each and every week, because it's so important that you guys get the special shout outs that y'all deserve for being those of you that are listening to me around the world, and to my guests, whatever my guests have to say when my guests are on. So thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. I can never say thank you enough, but I'm going to make sure that I always let y'all know how much I appreciate y'all for taking the time out to support the platform. All right? Okay, bet. Now, with that being said, y'all know the vibes. Let me get through what I need to get through as we move through, because there's a few things I would like to talk to you guys about today, right? And with those things, I'm hoping that I can break it down and get the point across, right? To exactly what the whole goal is behind We Don't Wait, We Create, right? And I think that this would be a perfect time to help break this down. And not even that, just to look forward towards the future, right? And let people know exactly, what the mission is, so people can understand what they coming together for, what they even, what even the mission is for We Don't Wait, We Create, right? So before we get into that, let's do this. All right. Well, since I'm speaking about We Don't Wait, We Create, before I get into the recap of what happened this past Saturday, because it was super dope. It did go down this past Saturday. I am super, super beyond grateful for everyone that showed up. Let me just say that, right? Because at the end of the day, I put together this event for a certain reason. And it was the main reason was for those people that are in this particular field of entertainment, or whatever you want to possibly call it, right? I felt like this was what was needed to bring this together, right? To bring all the people together that are a piece of the entertainment industry. And what I mean by that is that I brought the filmmakers together with the artists, with the models, with the clothing lines and the clothing designers, and with the script writers, with the people who work on set, that behind the cameras and stuff like that. Media, I brought media through as well. And I want to be honest with y'all, man. The whole premise behind it is because when it comes down to a film, all of these other pieces are needed for the film. It's just that these pieces don't work together with the filmmakers. Because I always have people who will hit me and say, "Hey, yo, Rod, you know any artists? Because I have a soundtrack, or I have some scenes I need music for. If you know anybody who got a clothing line, because we need a couple of things for this set, for this scene that we're doing, and all of these other things." And then people don't think about it from the outside, like how do they market and promote their project afterwards? And that's where the podcasters come in, right? That's where the media coverage comes in at. And then not only that, I had a panel there. I had a panel of professional actors. I had Vincent M. Ward from The Walking Dead. He was in the building. I had Yessie Rodriguez in the building. I had Peter Singh in the building, an entertainment attorney, to answer those questions that people have about certain things, like they may not have thought about, or they always thought about and they wanted to know. Like, for example, whenever I start a project, right, when it's time for me to finish it, what do I do with it? Where does it go? How do I get it on Tubi? How did I get it on Netflix? These are all questions that people need to know. right? And this is the type of event I had. I had Grammy nominated producer Mike Blaze in the building. Mike Blaze was in the building telling people exactly because he was able to, through his expertise, get his artists' songs placed on shows that are on television right now in this moment, and they will forever be there. Right, and sync licensing opportunities, and then we had an attorney there to help you answer questions about sync licensing opportunities. So for those artists that was there, boom, you know what to do. Now you're like, okay, back. This is my next steps for when I gotta go. I could hustle up and get this together so I could do this. That's what it was really about. And so without me going any further, let me do this. Let me say, uh, first of all, that was such an amazing joint. But what's coming up now, it's September 26th. For those of y'all that's watching now, but September 26th, I have a pop-up that we're doing for We Don't Way We Create. It's called the Engagement Party, right? It's called the We Don't Wait, We Create the Engagement Party, where you meet, connect, and engage in person, right? So the premise behind that is this. So I always find it obviously that people got to realize that engagement is what helps move your content through the algorithm. When people can view it, you can get a lot of views, but if people not liking or commenting or sharing the content, then it's still up to the algorithm whether they want to show it or not, right? So this is what I wanted to tell people. When it comes down to this entertainment game, or when it comes down to you as a business, period, you need engagement on your content on social media. That's how it moves around. Whenever people have to pay for ads, the reason why most people have to pay for ads, not saying that there's nothing wrong with it, but the main reason why people have to pay for ads because they don't get enough engagement on their content. Not views, but engagement. Because if you can get the engagement, it'll help push it to more people that they feel like want to view it. That's the goal. So the goal is to be in a building with other like-minded people. Now, listen, they don't have to be in the entertainment industry at all. They can just have a business, a platform. Now, just imagine if there's 50 people or 100 people in the building. That's it. Just think about that from this perspective. There's 100 people in the building. You go around, you in a networking event, you go to each person that's in there and you meet them personally. Now, when you meet them personally, y'all can follow each other right then and there. And guess what you can do right then and there? You can like their first 10 their first 10 posts on whichever social media situation that y'all connect on. So if you connect on Instagram, go on Instagram and their first 10 posts, you just go down and like, and you can use a comment. And you can put an emoji. You can put nice to meet you, great meeting you, the networking event, or put the hashtag We Don't Wait, We Create. You could do any of those things in there real quick. It only take you not even 60 seconds to link with somebody, connect with them, engage on 10 posts or whatever that they have, and move on to the next person. Now imagine if out of all 100 people, you go out and you hit 50 people. So say like you get 50 people, you get 50 people that all engage on 10 of your posts, and then they commented on there too. So now you got to go back and respond to every comment. So now that's 100 comments on your post. Kind of think about that, y'all. So whenever I'm saying to y'all is that it's cool for people to get together and do all these other things, but the engagement parties for those people that understand, you can monetize your social media. You can monetize your likeness on these social media platforms. They making the money, they have the money for you. You just got to learn how to play the game. And that's what the engagement party is about. It's about playing the game. It's not about everybody just sitting up here wanting to be popular. No, it's about getting residual income. If you could put yourself in a position where you can get the most following you can get, and then this is the thing, we keep doing these engagement parties, right? In between the events that we're doing. We Don't Wait, We Create is going to be on March 2020, March 13th, 2027. But until then, we're going to keep putting it together because look who I partnered with. We partnered with the Black Chamber of Raleigh. They're going to be co-hosting this event. So not only will there be people in the entertainment, there'll also be people from other businesses that are there. So then this is the vibe. You come and connect. So if you are a model, if you are an artist, if you are a DJ, if you are a podcaster, this is your room that you want to be in, because right now on your post, whatever you got going on, you could come get engagement. Not only get engagement, you could come and meet other people that's like that. You can figure out ways to collaborate, right? That's the purpose. The point is to collaborate. If you only gonna do things because you're gonna get paid, you missing the point. You're missing the whole point of what We Don't Wait, We Create. We Don't Wait, We Create is to put people together that want to collaborate to make money together. That's the point. You put your shit together to make money together. If you need to put everything in writing, that's what you do. You structure the deal, but you do it. You don't have to do everything for a charge. For example, if you're a clothing line, you got about 3 or 4 shirts of your shirts. If you know some people that's doing the movies, how you link with the people doing the movies? You come to events like this, right? You come to it like if you're a follower of me, you'll see that I post a new piece of content every week. So we're always on set. There's nothing for me to allow. And look, I have my own clothing line too, and I always wear my stuff. But my actors and all that other stuff, yo, they'll wear it too. They'll wear represent your brand. I'm not a hater like that. I don't say only y'all can only wear my brand. No, I tell them not to wear national brands, right? But I don't say, yo, you only got to wear my brand because it's an independent brand. No, they can wear their own brand too on camera. That's what I encourage. So if you are a clothing line out there, you should be in this event because why? That's what we're doing. We're putting it together to the point where you guys can come link up with the people that's doing stuff that are visible, and then you can help share their content. If you share the videos or the clips or the skits, if they're doing that, or the films or the short films or whatever they're doing, and the people are wearing your gear, you're promoting your clothes, right? Right. And then the people that are in that are helping to promote too. That's what I mean about engagement. It's not about just you. It's about putting yourself out there so you can get the most. You can if you're a real estate agent, think about this. If you're a real estate agent out there, right, and you're selling houses, you need engagement on your post. Now, the people who are looking for houses are going to find you based on your hashtags and all that. But the engagement can come from people who ain't looking for a house, who got a house and all that other stuff. That don't matter. But it's the engagement. It could be coming from people who are models, who are filmmakers, who are the engagement can come from that. Nice meeting you, great personality, putting emojis up there, clapping hands, all of these different things that make it, and then you use the heart. Right? You love the post. And that's what it is. You run across somebody's stories. There's nothing for you to hit the heart on their stories real quick. You roll through a few of their joints in their stories, hit the hearts. You know what that's going to do? It's going to pop it up on other people's stories for them to look at. To say, hey, you might want to check this story out because people are checking it out. That's how that works. And you can do that for whichever social media platform you're on. So that's what this is about, right? The We Don't Wait, We Create. We teamed up with the Black Chamber of Raleigh, and we got other co-hosts that I'm going to announce as we go for Saturday, September 26th. I'm telling y'all want to be in the building, man, because everything that I'm doing right now is to build upon people not having to just rely. Think about this. If your social media can pay for a cell phone bill or pay for your gas every month or just something like that every month, you get residual coming in just off of social media. Why? Because you're engaged with other people who are like-minded, who are helping you. Trust me, you don't need 1 million comments. You need if you got just 10 people, you can get 1 million everything because you 10 people can keep going back and forth with each other. Right? It's all kind of stuff they talk about. And you can do that on a post. And if you're doing that on a post, then guess what? That's all that's going to do is move it around, even with you in the comments on the post. Right? And then think about this. On Instagram, they allow up to 5 collaborators. So imagine if you go to any of these events and you have the mindset of saying, I bet I know that in each picture I need to have at least 4 other people. Well, 5, I could have up to 5 other people in a picture with me. So when I take group pictures and I want to, make it so I can make people collaborators, remember that. If not, individually going around taking pictures with people and, doing it in a way where you can do the selfie mode and then have somebody hold your phone and take a full, whatever of your, that's content. right? That's content that you could put up later on. Like you can add posts and then make people collaborators, and then now everybody is sharing the viewership of these things. And then boom, what is that doing? All the comments that come on one post, the other people see it. So people could comment. It helps move the algorithm and it helps move whatever your product and your business is, regardless of who's supporting you. It's just that it's going to be a bunch of strangers, people you don't know, or if it is people that you do know, that's even better. But then that's why you need to be in the building, right? Because when We Don't Wait, We Create Part 3 come up next year, y'all definitely gonna want to be in there because every time we're growing. Right, we got Vincent. He said he want to come back, so we definitely gonna put that in the atmosphere that we're gonna be able to get him back, just in case he may be booked or nothing. But I got other special guests that I've been collaborating with and been talking to and been not interviewing, but having them on the platform. And if any of y'all been keeping up with me, y'all been seeing like I've been having some really high level people on the platform. And with that being said, I have opportunity to bring these people as guests, I'm talking about people who do film festivals. I'm talking about, keeping the entertainment attorney whole vibe going, right? To make sure that people can get that particular information as well when they got questions. Because we do a panel, right? And we allow people from the audience to ask questions. And whoever you are and whatever you do, you get to ask a question and then bam, right? You write it down. You can be recording on your phone. So whatever question you answer, whatever your question you ask, rather, you get the answer, then boom, you just replay it when you get home. And then I'm talking about value for what you paying for to be in a building. Now, the We Don't Wait, We Create that we're doing on September 26th, the engagement party, is completely a free event, right? All you got to do is RSVP in order to be in the event, right? Because I'm trying to help y'all to understand just what I mean by collaboration. Because if all the people that show up in these different industries, you're going to get the engagement that you need because you're going to be there. So it's going to help you on the other end. It's going to help you for days and for weeks going forward because you could come in and, like I said, you're going to be there. You're going to get content in the form of pictures and networking, letting people know, and then you building with other people who have a following, who have all these other things. But it's helping the engagement. And what that means is helping bring it back. Just imagine if some of y'all out there could get paid for going live. I know y'all do because on Instagram, they allow that type of monetization for people who have a certain amount of followers if you go live, right? Boom. Same thing on TikTok. Imagine coming to an event and you going live for 15 minutes at a time, right? You don't be on the live for the whole hour or so that you're there. You do 15 minutes at a time and then because it look like you keep creating more live situations. 15 minutes at a time where you're going through talking to certain people on your live that's at the event. You get what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. And then a lot of these places that allow you to go live, then once you get done, you can download the video, right? When you get home the next day, download the video, take that same 15-minute video, break it down to 15 clips, because you can break it down to 15 60-second clips that you could put up as reels later on. Think about that, y'all. And then that's just content. And then on top of whatever your business is or whatever whatever you're doing, whatever it is that you're doing to market and promote yourself, you got this content from this one event. You got over 2 months worth of content from one event. If you just kind of think about it from that perspective, it's 30 days in a month, right? So if you break down a 15-minute video and you get 15 videos and you did 3 or 4 of those, think about it. You got that at least once a day. You could drop a different one of those reels just about that. And then for most of it, you could drop 2 a day. And in between, you could drop pictures. And in between, you could be promoting your business. Because what's going to happen is the people that you're collaborating with, they're going to get more eyes on the content that you have from the people that came from the event. Then what it does, it brings more people back to your page. So then when people engage, then their stuff pops up on each other's timeline. Now they can see your business, that you a notary, or that you're a real estate agent, or that you fix and flip homes, or that whatever that thing is, yeah, it'll pop up. So more people, then those people that recognize you and they can continue to engage with you outside of the event, because that's all it's about, because they already met you in person. So what that does, it just helps push each other. And then when you see that they are engaging on your posts, then you go back and you engage on theirs, because it gives you their name. They liked it, they shared it, or if they put a comment, go in there, respond to their comment, then go back on their page and just like and put some comments on their joints real quick. 4 or 5 of the joints, 6 of the joints, 10 of the joints, real quick. It ain't gonna do nothing but take you a few seconds to do that. It don't take a long time. You don't got to go up there and put a whole paragraph. You can respond to them on their comments, and then when you get to their stuff, you can put emojis on there. You can put gifs on there to represent what you feel and that you support them, or however at work. You could do that. So what I'm saying to y'all, that's the whole premise behind We Don't Wait, We Create the engagement party. I want to see all of y'all in the building. All you got to do is RSVP, and it's for free. You could be in the building. I want to see y'all there, man, because we gonna keep it pushing. Because I'm gonna tell y'all, when part 3, when We Don't Wait, We Create part 3 happens in March of 2027, it's gonna be so dope. It's gonna be so interactive. We're gonna even have the trailer submission where people could submit and have their trailer shown while they there. You know what I mean? So think about it. Like, you got a project that's already out already, or you got one that's coming out. You could come and you could get your 20 or 15 or 20-second trailer played in front of the group of people that's there. So then, bam, while you walk in the room, they see your work. Bam, they can connect with you right there and see how serious you are and see what you are about. So we adding that component to it next year, right? So I want y'all to be there, and I'm gonna have some more special guests. And the special guests, like I said, they're gonna keep going. They're gonna keep getting bigger as I go, because that's the caliber of what we're trying to bring. When I say that We Don't Wait, We Create will be that event that's going to change the atmosphere. It's going to change the trajectory of not just people in the entertainment business, or the entertainment industry, but in business in general, right? So many people have lost their jobs. So many people are worried about AI. But the only thing that you always have, regardless of those jobs, is you. You got a gift and you got a talent. If you're not a person that is in the front, you can still be in the background and be making money. You can still connect with those people who are on the rise, and you could just be a part of the where they promote you and you promote them, right? Easy. Strangers that you don't know. And it's not even a thing where it's like it's hard to say, because listen, if you in a business that require clients, then you need referrals. How else are you going to get referrals if you're not with connecting with people who are out there looking for referrals in their respective field as well too? Because you don't know, like, I've heard this a few times, and I've heard it recently from the owners of the ACE Center, and they said that anytime you're looking for something, that something that you're looking for is looking for you too as well. So you're not alone, right? And people are worried out here. They're worried about food. They got this whole thing going on with the beef out here. They importing beef. They keep talking about it's a shortage. Tyson laid off all these people at their beef processing plants and all these other things. And we understand the play that this is just done on purpose. They don't have to shut down. It's mad. There's too much land. There's too much. No, I hear this all the time when people get on here and they so smart and they say, yo, you know how many people eat chicken? You know how many millions of chickens? Yeah, yeah, we do know, because we know that as long as you allow them to do what they do, them chickens gonna breed every day. They drop eggs every day. Just think about this: every carton of egg that a person has or gets or buys, those are chickens. I know it's hard for you to kind of really think about that when they said that it was a wing shortage, most of people believed it for real, not knowing that they were just trying to make people buy the other parts of the chicken. They set you up, because think about it. They didn't say it was a shortage of eggs, so how was it a shortage of chickens with no wings? It just wasn't real, right? And it's the same thing with the beef. They want us to think that, but they got all this stuff imported from other places that's coming in here. That, can you trust it? There's so many enemies with the United States, and you don't know what they putting in it. And the United States is allowing them to poison their own people, because out here, the business is sickness. Can y'all imagine? That is the business out here, sickness. So that's why when it comes down to taking care of your health, I always like to mention these things, right? That, the one thing about a lot of people is that whenever you mention the certain things that they deal with and they start telling you that, yo, this is in my family, this was passed down and all this other stuff, you start to think, like, was it really coming from your family or was it just what you were eating that passed down from your family? So I tell people, you need to look up the effects of having parasites in your body. Just look it up. You know what I mean? I'm trying to tell y'all that it doesn't hurt to pass on information that you know can help people. It's people who are dealing with things like dementia, Alzheimer's, all these other things that they don't know that it's kind of linked to these things, right? And if you could figure those things out and you get that information, I promise you, you can start doing what you need to do to help get rid of that. So once you do, I want y'all to click the link in the description, right? Because we do have the parasite detox that's available for you. You can make this into a tea and you can help yourself now and today. They got tinctures on the website. They have all these other things. They even have the super binders, the toxins and heavy metals, right? To get that out of your body so you don't have to work. Because there's a lot of things they put in the water and all that. We talk about the metal. We talk about a lot of people who got the jabs, and in those, they had a lot of different things that was, metal, aluminum, and all that other stuff. So you want to get things in your body that can bond them and get them out, right? But you got to do it yourself, right? You can't be a person that's going to rely on a business that is a business of sickness, right? And because with this right here, with the blastosis hominis, right, that's outside in the fruits and vegetables that have been giving people this mad diarrhea and all this other stuff, right? It say it's a parasite. So in that, for those people who just allowed the symptoms to go through because they didn't realize it was a parasite, right? So they never did the things to detox it or get it out of their body. So it's just in there dormant, just still in there, along with the rest of the other things that might have been in there already. So look, y'all, I'm just advising all of y'all to do it, right? Check it out, help yourself, right? Because if you got a $300 pair of sneakers or shoes or $100 belt, then you should be able to have your health in check. Right? You should be able to be putting these things in your body that you know that you need. So I know that was a weird segue from coming from the event into talking about your health, but I wanted to correlate the two from doing it like this. If you really kind of look at this shit, y'all, whatever it is that is against us, if we stand together for those that think alike, we can stand against it. And what I mean by that is the freedom is what our goal should be. All of us, our goal should be freedom. Our goal should not be just more or accumulation without the mindset of freedom. Not just I want a new car, I want a new house, I want this, I want to go here. It shouldn't just be that. That should be the fruit of your labor, right? But it should be the ultimate goal is freedom, because that's what we're talking about, not having to live for a weekend. Because most people are going to get laid off and they're going to be worried about their jobs because they're worried about being homeless, right? And all these other things, which is a thing to worry about, right? But the problem is we fail to realize just how well we could work together in order to keep each other out of those predicaments for those that think alike. You can't do it for everybody, right? But for those people who want to do it, you can, and you can work together. That's the goal. So just think about the nuclear family, right? They talk about all the prices are going up. Now, for a two-parent household or a two-person household, it's still a lot. So then now if you got a third person, now if you bring a third person in, then bam, it makes it easier for everybody, right? And then that third person helping out. And then now if you got a fourth person, you're going to move it in this direction, right? Especially if everybody specializes in something else. Somebody in the house got to learn medicine, right? Somebody in the house got to learn, got to be a green thumb, right? And learn how to grow things. Because in the interim, if there's certain things that you feel like you can't buy, then you can grow it. Everybody has an option to grow something. Even if they in an apartment, you can still grow something. Even if you got to use pots, you could grow something. You can learn how to grow things and let it grow and start moving it. You can start creating life. That's the one thing about us as human beings, or whatever you want to call us. For those of y'all with this melanin, let me tell y'all, our magic and our superpowers, right? It may not be walking through walls, right? It may not be flying and all that other dumb shit, but we got the ability to create life and to grow life in a way where it starts from nothing and it becomes something, right? From the start of a seed, we have the ability to cultivate that into whatever it needs to be, whether it's nourishment or whether it's another human being to help push forth the agenda that we are a part of when it comes to our purpose. Can y'all imagine that? That's what we have the ability to do. We don't have to rely on certain things. We don't have to be the people out here saying, man, I gotta, I don't have this and I don't have that. Nah, you can create it. You can create it. And the same thing with the water. Like, look, they got places out here like they was talking about where they haven't had power. I think it's Michigan or Gary, Indiana, where they haven't had power for mad long, right? And I thought about this, right? They haven't had power in mad long. And then we saw some things, right, where a guy, he was from the South or whatever, and he said, yo, they playing us when it come down to electricity. Electricity is all around us. Like, we can actually draw electricity from the ground. And, so many people used to be like, yo, what are you talking about? Nah, I don't believe it. So he was doing it on social media. He was showing people how you could plug certain things in. If you got a certain type of, if you got copper and all these other things, you can plug it into the ground. You can actually pull energy, and you can, you don't have to really pay for electricity. Of course, he's missing. I don't even know if his videos are still out there, but certain things, once you see it, you can't unsee it, right? Once you see it, you cannot unsee it. You can never unsee it. So, being that I did see that, I know that he's still out. Well, that we have the ability to do that. Then I saw that there was another guy who was able to create a machine that actually pulls air out of the water, well, pulls water out of the atmosphere and creates water, which, people shouldn't be shocked about that, because they did say water was 2 parts hydrogen and oxygen, right? So H2O is what makes water. So H2O is an element that's in the air atmosphere. That's where, with humidity and all these other things, y'all know, is moisture in the atmosphere. So they were able to pull that out of the atmosphere and create water. So how many people, and this is what I'm talking about, right? There was people out here complaining about water. Oh, they're taking up the water with AI data centers. But how many people have said to themselves, yo, we're going to put our money together and we're going to buy one of these water ionizers that pull water out of the atmosphere and creates water? How many of us are going to chip in on that? That way we can do it. Like, imagine if a community, or imagine if a group of people, right, did that, and they pulled their resources together and they had that. So now they have water. They one less group, or however less group of people that need to go out and buy water. Right? So whatever is out there, it'll be more of a supply, if that's what people are talking about. And so many people can do that, to the point where they could even do it and sell water too. They could just sell it for lower than what the stores are selling. So for people who still want to go to the store, they can. Right? But for people who don't, they could put that together. They could make that a viable situation where they could actually, refill water for different stores. They could become a company where they could build, and we can do that. You could get more than one machine if y'all wanted to. But that's a business that people could come up with right now, because they have the machines. Anybody that's listening to me right now, y'all can look it up. It's a machine that pulls out the atmosphere and creates water. And it does, and it's drinkable water, right? Just like the guy who created the machine that he could create gas out of plastic, you know? Right? So he talking about he has a gas station or whatever, or he's building a gas station. Like, how many people looked at right now that got jobs or feel like they're going to get laid off or whatever, have said to themselves, yo, you know what? Let me reach out to this guy and figure out how we can invest in that type of gas station. What can we do? It's so many closed down gas stations and stuff around it. How can we be a part of that, to where people can actually recycle plastic goods, make some money off of that, and then that plastic can come back to the stores or come back to the actual place that they could process it and create gas. So that way people are not sitting up here stranded or worried about if they can't heat their homes in the wintertime, or if they can't move around and get to where they gotta go. Because think about this, you know how many people sometimes the power go out in the wintertime, but if they got gas in their car, they can have heat. If they need to go somewhere, if they can't, they can always get in their car and they can warm up and they can have heat. They can have gas in their car, especially if people have a way that they can create it out of plastic. And we know that, because everything is made in plastic, y'all. So what I'm saying to y'all is that there's so many opportunities for us to collaborate and grow on and to actually build and make money off of, that it don't make sense for us to only think in this one box. That's why we don't wait, we create is being created, right? For that particular reason. So for all of you guys out there to come together and understand that there are ways for people to work together to get a bigger goal, right? And ideas come from other people working together, right? Because just because you sell houses don't mean you can't sell water, right? Right? It doesn't mean that you cannot. People are still vacationing. So if people still vacationing and they saying, hey, gas or plane or airline tickets is too high, so a lot of people can't go certain places, then there's land all over the place that people are selling, and people could create their own oases right here that allow people to have their own vacations and get staycations and getaways where they could feel like they somewhere else. It's just the mindset. It's just about being creative. But I understand one thing that people told me a long time ago when it come down to being an adult, that you have to put your childish things away, is what I heard, right? And the number one thing that we all use as children is our imagination, right? We used to take that broomstick and imagine it was a real horse. We used to put that cape on or put that pillowcase around our necks or whatever we did and make it feel like a cape. And we would jump off of things and make us think that we were really flying, right? Some of us would lay on skateboards and have somebody else push us through hallways and stuff like that to make us feel like that's what we was doing. We was using all these other things. We used to build clubhouses growing up as kids, right? And build it in a way where it's like this is our own, just to have that mindset of having our own. We always use our imagination. But as an adult, your imagination is gone, right? Because if you think about it, as a kid, our imagination allowed us to create exactly what it was that we wanted. If we wanted to feel like we was riding a horse, even though it was a little broomstick, we made it feel like we was riding a horse, and we felt like it, and we could see it, and we could touch it, and we could move it around like that. And it's like any other thing that we did when we was little, especially like clubhouses or whatever it is. We made it happen. We put it together. We built things. We ain't have no carpentry skills or none of this shit, but we would build things. We would take supplies and make fly shit out of it. I remember my cousins and my uncles and them, they had a fly ass clubhouse. And what they did was they took like the tractor trailer, like where they lived at, like it was a big empty parking lot that had like the trailer of the tractor trailer. Like they went in there and gutted that shit out. They had all kind of fly shit in there. They was in there chilling, y'all. And like in the fall and the spring, it was the dopest spot to be. Cause in the winter, it was too fucking cold in there, right? And in the summer, it was too hot. But when you got that in between those seasons in the clubhouses, man, them shits used to be it, yo. We used to have mad fun in the clubhouses because we was off the streets and we could have whoever we wanted to hang with us in this area. And we was all out the way. We was all chilling and all having fun and just talking and just, you know what I'm saying, just doing whatever we do, man. And that was one of the things. So, but imagination is what we use to create these things. And now we're adults and we don't use our imagination no more. You know, the bills and all of those things have caused us to think only unilaterally about one thing, and that's just about making sure we pay them bills or making sure we look a certain way to other people. That's what most people are doing right now. That's why when you see a person who got a car note, but they got a Louis Vuitton bag, or you see them with a car note and they got, it's just those type of things you see, and you be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? We understand that having certain things make you feel a certain way. But I wonder if once you feel that feeling, does it really make you any better or worse as a person? And I don't know. But I know that if it could be attached to freedom, I know that if a person really understood that they can invest in these companies that sell these things and those companies pay dividends, and then those dividends could come back to you so you could possibly be getting these things for free or having a company pay you in order to have these things because you're invested in a company. So many people understood that, especially like with women, like with all these makeup and all these other things. If you guys found a company and they were public companies and you start buying stock in a company, and every time you go buy something, do you know that just raises your stock and that just helps your money grow? That every time you go buy something, think about that. That's why I think about beauty supply stores. That's why I tell, well, we could say this to all the women in the world who frequent beauty supply stores, why it's so important to come up with ways to create your own beauty supply, right? Even if it's an online situation where you're moving all the stuff out your crib, right? You just packing and shipping all out your crib. You got all the supplies at your crib. You packing and shipping out your crib. You and your crew, your little female crew, whatever y'all got, y'all packing and shipping out your crib. And there's some things I'm sure you could drop ship as well too. But just imagine if y'all doing that, right? You know, I also thought about this, candles and things that smell good and aromatherapy, right? And I think, somebody say, oh man, it's a whole lot of people selling candles, but it ain't enough, right? It's not enough because a lot of these major companies, say like Bath and Body Works or whatever, they still selling out candles like crazy. They sell out of candles. So obviously it's not enough because these places still sell candles. Why? Because of the way they smell. Like if you got great smelling stuff, people are going to buy it. And it's enough of it to go around. You could become a millionaire off of candles, yo. So I'm just saying there's a whole lot of different things. And now somebody will say, well, why are you saying candles? It's because if a person doesn't have any power, if they have candles, whether it smell good or not, whether they got candles, they got light. I'm just saying to y'all, there's a lot of things that people may say is different, but I'm saying to y'all freedom. You don't want to be out here caught in the highway without a spare tire. You want to be in a position where you have people that are like-minded that you could call that in case something happens. Because if the lights go out and everything black out and all of these people are sitting here wondering how they're going to get by, and you don't have a good relationship with your family, right? You don't really have a whole bunch of friends and all this other stuff. At least you will have a community of people that you connect with that had the one goal in mind, and that was freedom, right? So that's one of the most important aspects of what we're trying to do here when it comes down to these events and all these things that we're doing, is that we can create freedom. Because, in the form of being creative, that's a form of freedom too, because you're doing what you love to do, right? And if you're getting paid for it, if you're making money off of what you love to do, how can that be something that you even consider a job? It's not a job. It's what I love to do. And it's and then it's asset building, right? That you could pass down to your children. If you have children, you could pass these assets down, right? Your intellectual property you could pass down, the residual income, you could put this in a trust, and all these things can always trickle down. They'll always be there forever. Say once something hits 1 million views, it's gonna keep going up no matter what. It's gonna keep going up. So think about what we see here. It's not gonna go down. The views and the content and engagement, people are not gonna go in there and start deleting their comments, right? You know what I mean? You just got to be a person that's willing to understand what asset building is. And that's what I'm talking about. And I'm saying when it comes down to we don't wait, we create, I'm trying to help people understand that you are an asset and you can build an asset. I don't care. And I'm telling you, even for those of you that are not in entertainment, you don't have a business, you just are trying to find your purpose and you're saying to yourself, what can I do? You can always be a part of a movement that will always trickle down to you where you can still benefit. You're still a brand, right? There are people who are out here paying people to market their stuff, right? Think about this. You ever went to like Sam's Club or any of these places and you see somebody in there from Spectrum or whoever you get your cable from, or somebody in there with a service? They're paying people to go in there to market. They're paying people to do it. So you guys know that. You're seeing that. You could go in certain grocery stores and they got somebody in there with a little stand that's doing wine and cheese, giving out samples, right? Depending on what grocery store you're going into. They got people who are giving out samples of stuff. Why? Because they want you to taste their stuff. They're marketing to you saying, hey, this is here. What do you think about this? And if you like this, go cop some of this. That's what they're doing. So at the same token, if you have a business, of what better way for you to do it but have more people helping you at the same time push your product? I've noticed that a lot of people do these. gatherings, right? Where a groups of people get together and they do these gatherings and stuff like that. And sometimes you got to pay, and sometimes you don't. It don't matter about that part. But what I will say is that when you go there, right, and people have a good time, and they, they meet new people, and they're looking for friends. And I always wonder, and like, whenever you're looking for friends, what are some of the standards that you're looking for in a friend? Because one of the things I feel like we all should be doing as friends is making sure that we do things in a way that doesn't take away from each other, but always adds to each other, right? You never take away. You never be that friend that always needs something without having something to pour back into the pot. And I think that as friends, if we have the mentality to always pour into the pot, there'll be so much overflow that none of us will need to ever have to ask for a need from a person. Because so many people have lost friends over letting them borrow something, right? Letting them borrow money or letting them borrow their car, or letting them borrow something, and something happened. Now they're not friends no more. Now they had the best relationship, they had everything, but when it came down to that point of need, they couldn't help that need, and then now they don't have a friend no more. Or they did help that need, but the other person didn't appreciate it, right? Because they took the friendship for granted, thinking that this person always going to be a friend. And my thing is that we shouldn't put each other in those compromising situations. If a person really cares about me, they shouldn't want to take from me, right? If a person really cares about me, they shouldn't put themselves in a position where they have to come borrow. And now, if a person came to me and they said, "Yo, I got this idea we could put together and it'll help all of us," right? Then that's a conversation to have. But for a person that's always, "Yo, can I borrow this? Can I have that? Can I get this? Do you mind if I have?" I don't even want to be associated with those people because they're going to be around even in your next level. And your next level where they think they can see, well, those be the people that hurt you the quickest. It don't be strangers a lot of times. It will be a stranger. Don't get me wrong, but it be the people that are close to you, right? Because they feel entitled. Oh, you got it. You got it. Why you can't give it? You got it. Why you want to keep it all? You got it. Those people that do that type of stuff, that's always in a borrow mentality, you can't be around them, even if they family and you working on something and you pushing towards your freedom. No, you got to get away from them right now. You got to get away from them, right? Do the best you can to try to sever that. And if you ain't got to get away from them with hate, you could do it where you just separate your distance on how often you're around these people, and then you keep your private residence private, and then you meet everybody in neutral places or gathering places and all that other shit. But they just don't learn where you know what I mean. Like you got to do those things when you go into the next level. If you're around people who always feel like it's okay to ask you to borrow something. And I don't think that it's nothing wrong with having people in your life that can't help pull you up when you're down. But you got to be somebody who is willing to say that, yo, if you pull me up, I'm going to make sure I pour back in your cup because you never know when you're going to need them again. But if you just take it from somebody because you feel like they got it, that's corny. And you figure that out. You figure that out. Even when it comes down to having events, people who just want to get in for free or they don't want to pay. They don't want to support you monetarily because they think that they should. But they go to all these other places and pay. They go to concerts, they go out to brunches, they go out to lunches, they do all these other things and pay. But when it comes down to you and you have an event, oh, I know them. I'm not going to, you don't want to support them. You don't want to pay. You don't want to put up the money. Like, you see that they had to put money up to have it, but you don't care. You just want to I want to get in for free because I know you. Like those people, those friendships don't go far either. And I'm telling you, when it comes down to me, I take note of everything. It's going to be a lot of people who are frequently around that won't be around as you keep going because that's your mentality, and I know it. And if they ever was the question, well, why you don't? I was like, because when I was doing this, remember, you didn't do that. You didn't feel like you needed to. You wanted to get in free. You went to concerts. You went to all these other things. You even put the pictures and the videos up. You didn't get in there for free. But because of me, you felt like you wanted to come for free. So no, you can't come to these things unless you pay. Like if you pay, yeah, we could come link, you can come backstage, you can do all these other things, but you're gonna have to pay to be there. Right? I'm not giving you no tickets or letting you in free. I'm telling you now because that's how you're carrying me now. regardless of how cool we are. Because if we cool, then you would support. Like it costs you nothing to support online. So at least if you're gonna come to an event, or if you're gonna be a part of something, or if you want to do something, then support. And if not, then yo, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a loss. I want a lot of people out here to know that because people walk away, it's not a loss. A lot of times it be the blessing in people walking away. People will threaten a version of themselves walking away, and you gotta allow that to go because you trying to grow anyway. And sometimes it's just the energy shifting and the course of action that needs to be taken. It's like, yo, let them go, and then we let those things go, and we let those people go. Right? We don't hold on and harbor to any position that anybody want to be in. Right? We want people to be in our lives that want to be there, right? And that's why I say to all of y'all, we don't wait, we create. It's a movement, right? And it's going to be that thing that's going to separate the people who talk about what they do and the people who actually do what they do, because it's coming to that particular style. And to be honest with y'all, man, the way I'm growing, the way I'm pushing it, it's going to be a weekend. It's going to grow into a weekend, right? Where we don't wait, we create. The networking event is going to happen on that Friday. On that Saturday, we're going to have the film festival and the after party. And then Sunday, we're going to have that award show. I'm telling y'all, I'm going to pick one of these weekends out here that's considered having that Monday a holiday that most people don't really have nothing to do, right? You know, like Labor Day, some crazy shit like that. I know a lot of people do family reunions and stuff like that, but hey, it's up to you, like however that work, you know what I mean? But we're going to do that because eventually we don't wait, we create is going to turn into a weekend extravaganza that's going to happen twice a year, right? Every year it's going to happen twice a year, right? Because we want to make sure that we keep the iron strike, and while it's hot, we want to make sure that people keep all the updated information. Yo, I'm gonna have people coming at that at some point that's going to be talking about AI and how to build certain apps to help you move around. I'm networking with so many different people and so many different industry that's going to help people understand how to navigate through, that will be a part of these events coming up, that you are not going to want to miss it. You're going to want to come to these panels. You're going to want to have it, right? Because eventually I'm going to have the guests away. I'm going to have to break the panels up to, you know, different rooms at certain days, at certain times. We're going to have the rooms because I want to have that much information. I want you to walk away with that much of a connection. I want you to come out of this saying, I don't need to put up a casting for my film. I met the casting. I met the cast of my film at this event. That's what I want to do, right? I want to build it to the point where other filmmakers from other states and other cities going to come to We Don't Wait, We Create. Why? Because they might have to do their film here. Or if they link up with the people here that don't mind traveling, then bam, we'll come to your city and get your film knocked out. Or we'll come to your city and do your skits. Or whenever you come here, right, we set it up that we do some filming this while you here. Right, you don't just come for the weekend. Come for a few days. Like yo, when We Don't Wait, We Create becomes a weekend, you know, somebody come on a Thursday and a Friday and get with people that's here. People work, they got PTO, they can take them days off. Y'all can get some work done. You know what I'm saying? Like this is not for play. This is for real content creators, for real people who are really, really pushing to the point where they know that they could change their lives and they could get to that freedom path. Everybody is on this. Everybody, y'all, is on this. This is the new movie theater. You never have to worry about where am I going to show. You want to show it, it'll be right here. Put it out. People are going to see it. Find your niche and learn how to monetize. And how you're going to monetize is with other people. Once it picks up, then the world pick up on it, and then you don't have to. It'll snowball effect on its own. So this is what we're doing. This is what I hope y'all paid attention to, and I hope y'all come out. Don't forget, push play on the new content that's pinned on my page on Facebook, or it's on YouTube as well. Part 3 to Trapped in the Living Room. I want y'all to keep continuing to check us out. Check out the content that we're pushing. We're continuously growing and we're continuously knocking out it. And we got the clip loaded. You guys are going to continuously get content each and every week, a new one, and we're growing to the point where you're going to start getting it every day. It's going to be a new one that dropping. Then we're going to have multiple that drop in a day. It's pushing to that point where that much content is going to be coming from the collective visions. I just hope that all of y'all are ready, and for those people that are watching right now, thank y'all so much. And all the people that's going to watch the playback, thank y'all as well. But I want y'all to pay attention to the collective visions because we are coming. Do you understand? We're already here, but we're building and we're growing the platform. And it's really coming to that point where I am starting to look for producers, people who are writers, and they want to come on and they want to start developing content and skits to put on the channel, right? That's what I'm doing. And I'm building it in a way where it's going to be so creative for the people who come aboard that's really ready to work, right? So, look, y'all, I just want all of y'all out there to stay focused, stay connected, and just don't give up on yourself, right? Because the moment that you give up is the moment your breakthrough come through, right? Do not give up on yourself. I don't care what it look like. Do not give up on yourself. Be ready for the next level. Be ready for the change, right? Be ready for it. Be ready for it. So with that being said, I want to hold it down. I want all of you guys out there to hold it down. And I want to thank y'all for jumping on and for everybody that commented. I want everybody that reacted. Thank y'all. And for all of y'all that keep showing up each and every week to rock out with y'all boy, thank y'all so much. This is Round One, and I'm about to sign off, but I want to leave y'all with this. Remember, if you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. So until we see each other again next Tuesday, hold it down. Peace.
Let's roll. Co-pilot on the passenger side, be so fly. Yeah, she so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah. Co-pilot on the passenger side, be so fly. Yeah, she so lit, we so high. Just me and my chick, yeah. Just me and my chick, yeah.